Okay, so we have the Maverick pulled all the way apart. We're gonna do some mods to it today. This comes apart right here too. And then this spring here, usually people just stretch it or put a bunch of pennies. We're probably gonna double spring it. I have some springs I think will work when we do 2 springs. So we might try that. But yeah, we're gonna break this apart next. All right, so you pry this piece out right here. Put your screwdrivers right in here. 2 of them works better, one on one side and one on the other. And then you get underneath that and pry that out. You gotta be really careful because this underneath of that rod right there is a spring. And then that spring, that goes in there flush fit, and then it flush fits on the other side. Now what we're gonna do next is we've got some screws right here in the end we need to take out. This will have the air restrictors in it, and we're gonna take those out and do some modifications. Maybe we might open them up some more. But anyway, there's 3 screws. There's either 3 or 4. Looks like there's 3. So these screws is the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna take these screws out, and then I'll be back in a minute. All right, now we've got our screws pulled out of here. There was 3. And right there, them length right there, same as the body screws. But we're gonna take this and we're gonna just pull it apart. And when you pull this up, it's gonna have all your air restrictors, springs, and everything kinda in there. So as you can see, there's your barrels. And then we'll flip this over and look at that. And then there's all your, these are your guides, and then your restrictors. These are all your restrictors. Which will also, just depends on it, will also act as a, in certain guns, it'll act as a smart AR. So like if it's a double barrel or a triple barrel, but since this one only fires 1 at a time, it has to fire 1 and then turn and 1 and then 1. We'll probably take these out because you don't really need them in there because it only can fire 1 at a time. So all right, we're gonna go in just a little bit farther. We'll probably do some little bit of modifications to this, and I'll be right back. This is what it looks like when you pull the restrictor out. There's your guide, and there's the actual restrictor, and there's a spring. That restrictor just seats down all the way in there, and it'll seat. And then when it's next barrel up, it fires and it pushes it out. And then if you remove it, honestly, these guides, I think you can completely remove it. A lot of people cut them shorter, but I'm not. All right, so we're gonna drill this center of this out, and I'm gonna start with smaller bits first. I don't want to go past. So I get you better little picture here. Get that drill bit in there. See that lip right there? You don't want to take that out. You take that out, that's actually what the dart will seal right there. This ledge. So what I'm going to do is basically on the inside of those holes, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to start with the a 7/64, and then I'm going to go to a 7/32. This is a 7/32 bit right here, and then I'm going to end up with a 3/8 bit. This is 3/8. No rhyme or reason to why I picked the sizes I picked, but 3/8 is going to get me really close to being where I want to be. I wanted to start smaller and then go from there, so I don't break it or veer off and mess it up. But so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this started, get these drilled out, and let's give us the maximum airflow through to the dart. And then with the post removed, it will allow us to shoot the half darts. Here's they are drilled out. What also will help you too is if you flip the restrictor over, you can see it's already got a hole in the center. That's where the dart post used to be, so you can literally just flip them over and drill them through that way. And that'll keep you your hole square, and then that way when you start stepping up to the bigger bits, you won't have any issues. All right, so what I decided to do, I stopped. I didn't go up any larger on the bits. I stopped at a 5/16 because what it was doing is it was getting way too close. 3/8 was way too close. So after I drilled it out, you can see I broke the rest of it out with a pair of pliers. So it just popped out real easy. So that left us that big like Y shape in the middle. I think that should be perfect like that. Anything more, you're going to wind up getting into the dart seat, and I just don't think that's going to be a good thing. Okay, now we've got our holes cut. We're going to go ahead and put all these back on, and we're going to go ahead and put our cylinders back together. Then we'll be ready to go. In the back, like that right there. make sure whenever you align, put all this back together, that you have your screw holes lined. Shouldn't have no problem at all. We're gonna go ahead and put the front piece back in now. We're gonna go ahead and slide that rod right there back in, and then put our spring and that lock back in. We're gonna knock those back in, and we'll be back with the next part. All right, so you wanna, when you put this in there, you wanna knock it back in until it's flush. You can see it's pretty darn close to flush, because this is actually, you can see here, I'll try to show you. It's got that spring in there, and that's what you want. You don't want to knock that down in there too far. So it needs to be, like I said, flush like that, and then you're good to go. And then this is reassembled. That little catch right there, we'll have to cut that off. And this little catch in here, we'll cut this off so we can get the barrel to open all the way up. All right, so you can see here, I took a pair of cutters. I just cut that off, that tab. And then there's a tab right there I cut. I'm gonna go get a file, and I'm gonna file and clean that up a lot better. Make it nice and smooth and clean. All right, so you can see here, I went ahead and cut that off, filed them off. Same one with this one here. Cut that guide out of there, filed that off real good. Now I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. This is your factory spring right here. This is a spring I picked up at the hardware. It's got a little bit more tension to it. I thought about double springing it, but we may just replace it and put the long spring in its place. We'll see how it works out here. But that's our next agenda to see. You can, what a lot of people do, I've seen, is you can do this, put your barrel back in, and then they'll stack a bunch of stuff right here and push that in, or you can stretch the spring out too. But it's a relatively weak spring. I don't know, maybe it might cause slide problems if we get too strong or get too much spring force. We might break the slide. So I don't know, we're just gonna see how it works out. That's what we're gonna do next. When you go to put your cylinder back in, start this end in first. Get it started in, and then push it down. This piece right here is spring loaded. You'll be able to pull it in. Then it'll snap right down in there. It's just a lot easier putting that back in that way. Alright, so after removing our modified spring, we put the stretched original spring back in there, and now we're gonna put it back together. Alright, so we got our Maverick out here. We got it all taped up real good. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna paint it right here. We're gonna paint it gloss jungle green. Alright, so this is a stock Maverick loaded with elite darts. Like 64, that one didn't read. So 64, I'm gonna go out with 64 as our best. This is a modified Maverick. This is shooting the elite darts as well. This had spring work, this has had restrictors, barrels drilled, it's had a lot of stuff done to it. So there you go, that's an 83. Now just for comparison, this is a strong arm. So there you go, we took an old Maverick and made it perform better than a strong arm. Alright, modified Maverick with half darts. Alright, modified Maverick with waffle dart.